Yo, welcome back to the Golden State Warrior fan room. I am Jeremy, and today I'm joined by a pretty familiar guest, my guy Justin. Today we'll be breaking down the Kaminga situation, the new signings, rotation questions, early season predictions, so on and so forth. But before we dive into that, my guy Justin, how you doing, man? It's been a nice minute. It's been a long off season, but nonetheless, we're
hmm
here. Man. How you been?
been cool. Like everybody, been anxiously waiting for this whole Kaminga saga to be done, the free agency and things like that. And we knew it was going to drag on, but we didn't know it was going to go literally to the last day. But we here now, I guess.
Yeah, man, it's been a very long off season. You said it best. This is the first time I've ever seen something like this, man. I don't even know if this has been
hmm
done before, but the fact that our off season literally lingered on all the way into training camp, that says a lot. But we're here to talk about it today. So yeah, man. First off, let's start off with the big news. How do you feel about how the Warriors handled the Kaminga contract situation?
I mean, once you see the contract, you can. I mean, I guess I come to the conclusion that they handled it pretty well. Like, I mean, the summer itself, it seemed like they stood firm on their initial offer because they knew they had most of, if not all, of the leverage. So when you see the deal that was taken, 1+1 with a team option, and you hear all of this stuff,
Mhm.
all of the issues that they were making about turn the TO into a PO
Mhm.
and all of this, only to take the TO and take
Yeah.
less years. It just like, bro, we could have that could have got done first week of free agency. Like that was the initial offer, pretty much.
Right.
Now in the long looking at a long term view, we should never got to this point. I'm in the camp that says even though he's a young, talented player, you probably should have traded him last trade deadline or even the one before that when his value was highest and there were
Yeah.
legitimately all-star caliber players on the table. Um, and you had another salary and CP3 salary to match. So I think it was just a little bit negligent and hubristic or very arrogant to do that on Joe Laker's part to hold on to him for so long.
Hmm.
I mean, we still holding on to him, obviously. So we'll see what goes on. We'll see how he plays, if he fits, if he needs to be traded this deadline or whatever the case may be. But I think they mishandled it up until the very end of this free agency saga.
Yeah, man, you hit on the head for all the right reasons. My takeaway from it, I was just glad that something happened because this literally freezed up our entire off season. Like, luckily, we were able to get those guys like Horford, D Melt to like kind of get a handshake deal and play with them. But to your point about trading him, we have had numerous of trades. We have so many opportunities to get rid of him, but the Warriors just didn't do it. Like, we could have got Pascal Siakam a few years ago. At one point, OG Ananobi. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of always thought of like if we really didn't have no real desire to like keep him for real, why did we let it last this long? Because we would have been fucked if bro would have take to just qualify offer. We would have lost him for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would have had a no trade clause and he just walk next year in free agency. And it would have just been the Warriors' fault in my opinion. But nonetheless, the contract itself, I feel like it's fair in a sense. It's like a 1 year deal. Like go out there and prove to us that you're worth more. Or if things ain't going too well, we could just trade you and it'll be best for both parties at this point. So I ain't
Mm-hmm.
mad at it. 2 year, $48 million deal with a team option. So hey, that's not the worst contract. So I like it.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I mean, it gives him a chance to go to a new team as well. If that new team wants to give him one more shot, because he only gets there for half a season, they can pick up his team option and then sign him to a longer deal. Or they could
mhm.
say, we like what we see so far. We're going to scrap that team option and give you a 4 year deal, something like that. So I
Yeah,
think it works out
exactly.
for both parties, which is why it just didn't seem like it made sense that it dragged on for this long just to get back to this.
No, it definitely makes sense, bro. Like you seen Sacramento was heavily interested in him. Phoenix was interested. They offered like a 4 year, $90 million deal. The Sacramento Kings said he would become a starter and that they had, like the money for him in play. So those teams that's interested in him, it's just for us though, like the guys we were getting back in return didn't really make sense. So the packages wasn't all that, but if he could up his value this season, his name would be floating around some trade rumors for sure. So yeah, we'll see how it go. But now that that is done, let's look ahead. What kind of leap do you expect Kaminga to take this season with the Golden State Warriors, man?
Um, that remains to be seen. I do know, the things that he's already good at, playing in space, getting downhill, scoring at the rim against an advantage. I think that'll come a lot easier for him this year with the addition of Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, the emergence of Quentin Post last year. So we just have
Mhm.
more spacing in general. Our front court players have more spacing. It's tough with Loon and Trace and Draymond sometimes for Kaminga to get downhill because of the spacing. But now we have bigs that can, pull a defender away from the rim. DeAnthony Melton's another ball handler. Pods will be another year better as a ball handler and potentially as a shooter too. So I think
Mhm.
he'll just be able to play a lot more simple instead of like a lot of the post ISOs and stuff like that. Maybe he'll get some of that too, but I think the downhill aspect of his game should be pretty strong. Hopefully, this being his fifth season he's going into, hopefully he's matured as a defender, particularly on the help side aspect of it and team defense aspect. We'll see. We had his agent posting these weird clips of his workouts playing against non-NBA players, trying to sell to us that he's like somehow improved or bought into the team aspect of basketball on both ends of the court. But that's like we need to see it against NBA players when it count.
Right.
So um, yeah, it's still a big question mark, but I do know his scoring at the rim should see an improvement, especially in efficiency, because he'll just have more opportunities there with more space.
Yeah, speaking of his age though, that man was going on the whole tour during the off season, bro. Like this man was like I had never seen an agent like during the negotiation period, like be on podcasts and talk show. It was just funny to me, man. But
Yeah,
hey, to each
crazy
his
work.
own. But hey, luckily he didn't mess up coming from getting paid in the end. So I guess it don't really matter. But no, I agree, man. Like to your point about Quentin Post, unfortunately, Kaminga really didn't get a chance to just kind of play with him for it because he was dealing with injury last season. But I do like the ideal pairing of like Horford and Post out there together while Kaminga's out there getting downhill, getting to the rim, and having those stretch bigs. So hey, man, I feel like if he can come in locked in, he's more likely going to be coming off the bench. I don't really see him starting. So if he can just lock in, like being that six man for this team, then hey, man, we can kind of see what that'll lead to. I know his media day thing, he kind of mentioned something about like defense. Guarding the best player on the opposing team. So if he has that mentality, then this team can probably do something for real. But like you said, we'll just have to see, what it be like. So yeah.
Hmm.
So speaking of like building around a young guy, like the front office also load up on some vets. So like out of the guys we signed as far Horford, we brought GP2 back, D'Anthony Melton, Seth Curry. Who do you think makes the biggest impact this year?
Al Horford, just because DeAnthony Melton is going to be hurt or he's still recovering from the ACL, getting back, so he won't be fully back. I don't think for a little while. And then I think Al Horford, what he can bring on the defensive end as well as the offensive end,
Hmm.
kind of completes a lot of their lineups, or it just gives them more lineup versatility. Whereas D'Anthony Melton, he's very good and he could potentially close a lot of games for us, particularly in the playoffs. But
Hmm.
we have guys who do similar things to him already. They just may not be as good. Whereas with Al Horford, we don't have anybody on the roster that can do the things that he can do in one complete package, right? We have Post who can shoot. We have Draymond who can be the hub and who can do the defense stuff, but Al Horford can kind of do a little bit of both of those things, which just makes him, have a lot more different combinations that they can go to. So I think it's Horford for sure.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, it was the reason that he was the top priority for the Golden State Warriors this offseason. And also, there's a reason that he's sitting in the league going on 40 years old. Out of his draft
Mhm.
class, there ain't too many guys sitting in the league. So it just speaks of his level of play. Like, he's still one of the best stretch bigs out there. And to your point, bringing that versatility on the defensive side of things, high IQ player. And he's going to bring that leadership to this team that's desperately needed. And yeah, I just think it's just an ideal fit. He just fits in with the way we like to play and operate. He's going to play a great alongside Steph and Jimmy. He's just a natural fit, and he can play with Draymond. So yeah, just all about managing his minutes for real. We ain't just trying to, outplay him and stuff. It's just about getting to the postseason at this point. So yeah, I would have to agree. I think Al Horford can have the biggest impact out of all the guys that we've signed as far as sign you're a little skeptical about and why.
Repeat that. I couldn't. I think you went out for a second.
Uh, like out of those guys we signed, like is there like one of those guys that you're a little skeptical about and like why?
No, not really. You always got to be kind of mindful of the injury history of the players you sign, right? D'Anthony Melton was great for us for 6 games last season towards ACL. So
Mhm.
you got to think like, is he going to be able to stay healthy? But like as a player, we know he fits. We know he can do so many different things in terms of handling the ball, shooting the ball, defending the ball at the point of attack. He
Mhm.
rebounds well. He's more athletic than he gets credit for, even though he is coming off an ACL. So we'll see how he looks athleticism wise. But I'm, you know, I'm cool with him. Seth, we know what he can do. I don't think anyone has any unfair expectations for him. He's a shooter. I don't know how much he'll be in the rotation, but we know when he plays, he'll be able to shoot and hit shots, and we won't really expect him to be super impactful elsewhere. So I don't really have any skepticism with any of the guys they brought in. And then the same thing with Gary is like, can he stay healthy? If he's healthy, he's a pretty solid rotation player or pretty solid regular season player. And then at his very best, we know he can provide impact at a high level. It's just a matter of how often can he play at that level at his age, given his injury history too. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I'm pretty sold on all of the guys, and especially considering how deep the team is. I know all those guys having like a smaller role should yield positive results because we're not going to overtask anybody. So should be good.
Yeah, I agree. Also, bro, your mic was staticking up so bad, but it's better now. I don't know. I was gonna tell you to like unplug it and plug it back in, but it's better now though. So yeah, man. One player I'd be skeptical about, I had to say GP2, and it's only because how Steve Kerr can get with him. Like he would kind of breeze playing him a little bit too much, and I don't really want him to like take away minutes from Moses and BP at this point of his career. He a specialist. Like certain players are going to need him for like Anthony Edwards, SGA, just to throw him at him, let him guard him, and be that pest that he is. But for the most part, I'm not skeptical about anybody. Like I feel like all those guys would be great additions to the team, and the way we are right now, I kind of like it. So yeah,
Hmm.
and that actually ties in how Steve Kerr might shape the rotation, which I want to ask you. Like if everyone is healthy, what's your version of the 8-man rotation that you can see the Warriors playing every game?
Um,
Eight to
well, the
nine man
starters,
rotation.
I think the starters most likely going to be Steph, Brandon, Jimmy, Draymond, Al Horford. Obviously because Melton is not going to be healthy to start the season, and I think Brandon earned the starting spot either way. He's been here he's going into his third season.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure he's getting better every year. He understands the offense. He's a positive impact player. So I'm cool with him starting there. I can see Moses being the first like true wing off the bench. Kaminga is kind of like a tweener, like forward wing type of guy. So Moses and Kaminga, I think, will lead the team in bench minutes, and then when Melton gets back, he'll be probably that third guy. Um, and then that'll probably be the 8-man, like the top 8 in minutes. We'll see what how much Kerr like leans into Buddy. Maybe if Moses isn't shooting the ball well, Buddy will probably get more minutes, but we'll see with that. And then I think it'll be spot minutes, here and there for like Quentin Post and Trace and stuff like that. Because I
Trace.
think Draymond and Al Horford will be, you know, getting some good minutes at center. So yeah, I don't even know if it'll be a legit 8. It'll probably be like 10.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think the top 8 is going to be those starters plus Melton, Moody, and Kaminga.
Yeah. So like over the course of an 18-game season, like we're gonna have to load manage these dudes. They ain't young no more. So I'm saying that's when the young guys gonna come in like post Trace. I can see them getting a lot more run this season because we have to manage Al Horford for sure. Because I think he's going to be 40. No, after the playoffs. So yeah, we're gonna have to manage that for sure. But I agree. I think there's definitely a rotation. So yeah, man, like which young player out of Moody, Paz, Trace, and Kaminga you think benefits the most from the moves that we made in the offseason this far?
Um, I'd probably say Kaminga, just because, like I said, the need for spacing for him to play his full game. I think Al Horford and Melton being able to pass as well is going to help him a lot. With Moses and Pods, I think Jimmy was the biggest addition for them because he can set them up so much. He provides so much rim pressure. He kicks it out to them, and they can just take spot up threes or just get some downhill drives off of closeouts based on his gravity. So um, we saw how good they played towards the end of the season. I think there'll be a lot more of that this year, but we'll see a big uptick in impact for Kaminga because of the addition of Horford and Melton, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with it, man. So you say you can't see me, bro?
Nah, it's black on my end. It's been black for a little bit.
I get it. Let's see what we can do here. Pause. Yeah, man, I agree. For sure. So I think Kaminga could probably benefit the most when you look at the addition of Al Horford to veteran can kind of take him under his wing a little bit and give him some knowledge. And yeah, I just think it'll be a good fit with those two being out there together. So yeah, man. Did you see what was it? Dang, who said it? It was media day the other day, bro. Somebody had said some interesting comments that caught my attention. Trying to see, was it JK? Man, I set my mind, but it was something that had caught my attention, man. I was like, wow. But nonetheless, our first preseason game is Sunday. It's not really much to take away. I seen that Jimmy had sprained his ankle in practice today, man. I was like, man. But they said it isn't nothing too major though, so ain't nothing to just trip about for real. But before we wrap this show up, bro, let's throw some predictions on the table. Like realistic win total. How many games do you see the Warriors winning this year?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 51.
Out on the limb, wow, 51.
Yeah,
That's
just
that's
because the
valid though.
age, that's I think I mean, it'll definitely be over the betting total. Just because of the age, I think Vegas will probably have them below that, probably have them somewhere in the high 40s, mid 40s.
Hmm.
Um, but I think Pod's getting better, Moses getting better, the additions that they added, the continuity of the team. I think the vibes of the team is good. They added a guy like Seth, obviously is Steph's brother. I think the locker room will be, in a good place. And I think they really know that this is one of if not their last shot at really getting it. So they're gonna go after it and come out hot. So I think they get over that 50 win mark for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see us being around the 50 to 48 mark. How many games we won last year? Was it 48? Oh, it
They
was
won
40.
48.
Yeah, 48. So I can see us kind of being there. Probably a little bit better though, but nonetheless, the goal is just to be in the playoffs. Like not to play in the playoffs, bro. So we have to be a top six
Hmm.
seed in the lower Western Conference. At this point in these guys' career, bro, like we need all the energy we can. We can't just be wasting energy playing and playing games, man. So in saying that, I could agree. I could see us winning like 50 for real. Cause when you think about it, like a guy like Horford, hopefully they can able to come back healthy. GP2 back locked in. Kaminga taking that leap. We talking about all the young guys, honestly.
Hmm.
I think we are better than what we were last year. You replaced Looney with Al Horford. I like that. So, with all due respect to Loon, yeah. So, in saying that, like, who is your X factor for the season? Like the one player that will decide how far this team kind of goes, in a sense.
It's definitely JK, whether it be on the team or a trade piece. I think the foundation of the team is pretty set, right? I think
Mhm.
the foundation was set last trade deadline when they brought Jimmy in and kind of
Mhm.
created a new identity for themselves. So we know what Steph, Jimmy, Moses, Brandon, Draymond is going to bring. I think we already know what Al Horford's going to bring to the table. And when D'Anthony Melton is healthy, we saw what he can do. So I think that in itself establishes a pretty high floor for them. Probably second tier contender status, like puncher's chance contender. But JK is the talent piece and the salary piece that can bring in a player that's dynamic enough to put them over the top. They need
Yeah.
somebody that's going to be able to like step into a playoff series and be a difference maker, like a legitimate difference maker, 25 to 30 minutes a game in the playoffs that can score, play both sides of the ball. We've seen it every season. There's a guy on every team that isn't necessarily a top 2 or 3 guy on a team, but he makes a huge difference, right? We saw Caruso last year. We saw Bruce Brown a couple years ago. For the Celtics, we see like, they whole team was loaded, but we
Yeah.
need another piece that's like, okay, Steph and Jimmy, we know we getting our 20 to 30, but we need another dude that the other team isn't really taking account for that can give you a good 20 in 2 or 3 games out of a playoff series and get
Right.
you over the top.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think JK is definitely the biggest X factor for the team.
Yeah, I agree. Some would kind of throw pause in that conversation, but
He'd up there too. He up there too.
yeah, he is. But the difference between Paz and JK is that Paz don't need to score the ball to be effective in assists. He still does the little things such as rebounding, playmaking, taking charges, so on
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. Just more so of a team player to JK. And that's no knock to JK, just still learning. It just Paz just is a natural at doing that, like just doing what's best for the team. And that's why Steve Kerr just kind of like got attached to the hip with him since he's been with the team. And yeah, but I agree. I think Kaminga would be the biggest X factor for us. Like he's gonna be the one player that kind of decides like how far we go for real. Like just can he be locked in, or to your point, whether we trade him, what can we get back for him? And he's shown the tools to kind of be there. You seen what he did in that playoff series against Minnesota. It was just a matter of him and Steve Kerr, can they get on the same page? He wants his minutes and stuff, but Steve didn't just see the fit alongside Draymond and Jimmy. It's valid, but we'll kind of see how it go. I mean, JK say he's been putting in the work, trying to become a better shooter and make it work. So, hey man, we'll see. First
We'll see.
preseason game is Sunday against the Lakers. I find it crazy that we have to play them twice before opening night. So, yeah, it'll be
Yeah, that's
fun.
every season just because it's California. They so close. They be doing that
Yeah,
for the preseason. Yeah.
yeah, it should be fun. No, I'm not gonna take away a lot from it, but it'll be fun to see those guys back out there. It is a little bit weird seeing Al Horford in the Warriors jersey, though. I ain't gonna lie, just a little bit,
Definitely.
just a little
Definitely.
bit. Cause I seen his sister tweet from a few years ago when we won the championship, bro. That was crazy.
Yeah, they was hating, but it just shows us how competitive that family is. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and that series was real uh tight. So
Yeah, it just
it's
kind of show you
water
how,
under the bridge.
just kind of show you how everything comes to full circle. Like even Jimmy Butler and Al Horford, like what they had going on in the playoff series a few years ago, like trolling each other with the timeouts, and now
Oh
they're
yeah.
teammates and stuff. So man, life comes at you
Hey.
very quick.
hmm They dogs though. They competitive, and that's another
Hmm.
reason why I think they're gonna be better than people think they're gonna be.
Yeah, for sure. We get a full season with Jimmy Butler. I'm excited for that. I know he's going to come in being locked in. And yeah, we'll see how far this team can go. We'll definitely try to link back up right before the season tip off. So, hey, man, big thanks to Just for coming through. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow the Golden State Film Room, and we'll be back just about as the season tips off. And with that being said, we out. Peace.